Alrighty, you guys. So, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video, going through some more Binder of Revelations content here. So, I'm just going to be looking at some of these designs that we have never seen before to the public. You know, there's been stuff released from this book over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. But obviously hasn't been everything like how we have it now the last few days. So there is some stuff here that is new that I'm going to cover here in terms of character designs. So let's get right down to this video, shall we? So first up here we get some shots of what looks to be Cybertron, but it's kind of thrown me off because it's orange, so it kind of gives me a Unicron vibe, but this is Cybertron they're talking about here. So I don't think we've ever seen Cybertron depicted this way, and I don't think we've seen this art before, so I just thought that was kind of interesting and worthy to note in this video. And we also have new artwork of the primes, it looks like here. It's kind of a weird image because it looks like it's their individual head designs like toppled on top of each other. I think it's like Onyx Prime, Liege Maximo, and I don't know what like this is a new image for the primes here, and it just looks so odd to me. I can't even really make out what they're truly like going for here. Like the article here is talking about Liege Maximo and Prima and Alpha Trion and the primes and stuff. So if anything, it gives off like a Prime Predaking vibe, but obviously that's what this book is based off of. But yeah, it's just kind of weird to me. Optimus Prime, you know, we've seen iterations of this specific design before in previous like pop-up books and novels and stuff, and we've seen images of this released over time. But not stuff quite like this, especially when he's doing this crazy flex pose with his siege battle axe, which is pretty funny that this axe has been around for years now, and it just got a figure in Siege like 10 years after it was designed. But this is a cool Optimus design. I would love to see this as a Voyager or a Leader class at some point down the line. And then we have Bumblebee, who, again, I like this design. I've seen people complaining about this design, that they don't like it and it's too spindly and stuff. I don't know, I think it works for what they're going for, and for me personally, my own robot design taste, I think it's a good Bumblebee design. I dig it. You know, the G1 cues mixed with the Bayverse cues, I think is a cool mix, and I would love to see this Bumblebee design as a deluxe at some point. And we have this new image. I can't remember if this was in that Prime concept art Blitz that was released a couple years ago that I covered on the channel. I don't think it was, but it looks like Optimus and like this Soundwave sort of character looking robot, and then there's this orange robot all the way in the back. They're working on something that they're building on, maybe in the desert, or maybe it looks like Cybertron, I don't know. But I don't think we've seen this image before. It kind of looks cool to me. And then we have Prowl's design, which we've seen, you know, we got that deluxe Prowl during Prime. We've seen other images of different designs for Prowl in the aligned continuity, but we haven't seen this one before, I'm pretty sure. And this one is based off of his alternators design, because he has those stick weapon thingies. I forget what you call them, but yeah, this is a cool design. His head does look a little awkward in the artwork, but still, he looks really cool. And maybe they're just basing that off of his Universe 2008 Deluxe that had sort of that kind of long neck, and it's played off here as like a collar for a police officer's uniform. And yeah, I never really thought about that Universe Prowl's neck before like that, so that's kind of a cool design trait there. This is a nice Prowl design. I would like to see this as a deluxe class as well, even though we've kind of already gotten this in two different figures with the Alternators one and then the Universe 2008 Deluxe. But, you know, obviously it's a bit more movie inspired, and it is a bit different from those two figures, so it would be nice to see this design as a deluxe one day. And we have Grimlocky, who looks so freaking cool. All he's missing is like a Gatling gun arm. That's like one of the things from Cyberworld that I think is really cool. And maybe some missile pods on his back or on his shoulders, which, was that something they did in Cyberworld 2, or am I thinking about something else? But I don't know. Having some big weaponry on him is like the icing on the cake, because this Grimlock design is in similar vein to stuff like Cyberworld, and Yeah, these modernized Grimlock designs over the years is some of the more consistent design traits in recent years with Hasbro that I think they're actually killing it with in terms of, doing G1 designs, but a bit different. Like, this design looks so freaking badass, man. And then we have Jetfire, who, I think he's based off of his Titanium figure from a few years prior to this book being made, and this is sick. I like this design. I've seen some people complaining about the wing placement and, just the design in general because, Titanium series wasn't the greatest toy line in the world. It was pretty bad, especially back then it was pretty bad. But I don't know, I dig the design. It looks like Jetfire, but, just different, which I think is cool. It's also kind of similar to his Classics figure, but it's more so in that Titanium design. And then we have Bulkhead, who I was really surprised to see. But this Bulkhead really surprised me because it's the animated design, but he's put through the aligned continuity / prime cartoon design philosophy lens, and it looks so awesome. If they chose this for his Prime design, I would have loved this too. I love his final design in Prime, but this is something next level, man, because it's referencing my favorite version of Bulkhead, my favorite Transformers cartoon, and it's just such a cool redesign. Look at his cute little toes, man. They even give him like fingernail details at the tips, which is kind of cute. Yeah, this Bulkhead design is really sick, and it's also giving me a little bit of the Leader Class animated Bulkhead vibes. And then we have Mirage, who was another one that I was kind of surprised by to see, because I don't think we ever had Mirage leaked, or maybe we did, and it was a slightly different design. But this is really cool. Obviously very movie influenced, as basically all of these designs are, and this is sick. Mirage is one of my favorite G1 Autobot designs, and putting him through this Bayverse aligned continuity lens is just so awesome to me. I love it. And then we have Omega Supreme. Like, look at this stud, dude. Oh man, this design is so cool with like the railings wrapped around his shoulders, his big hulking arms. I love this Omega Supreme. I want to see a Titan class of this so bad. And then we have some cons here. Starscream, who is like the muted colors of Bayverse, but he still has the G1 red and blue and white and stuff, which is a really interesting contrast. And his robot design is super menacing. It almost looks like a Dark Energon infected version of himself. I really dig how this looks, man. Then we have Barricade, who looks even doper than Starscream. It's kind of funny that this book cost $250,000 and they just copy and pasted his War for Cybertron vehicle there when he clearly turns into an Earth vehicle here. But still, the robot mode design is so nice. Perfect blend of aligned continuity and the Bayverse design. And then Soundwave, who we have seen before, but this is a slightly different variation because I don't remember this one having all the junk on his shoulders and back part. Not to say it looks bad, I actually think it looks really cool. Some people have said it looks a little too busy and weird, but you have to remember they're going for that movie aesthetic, and I quite like it. It makes him look a bit more beefy and menacing. I dig it, man. And he turns into a surveillance van too, which is obviously perfect for Soundwave's character. And then we have Ravage to go along with him, and I don't think we've seen this one before either. Really cool, just a slightly more redesigned and detailed version of his G1 design, which is really cool with some of those Revenge of the Fallen aspects added to him, which I do like. Then we have my guy Blitzwing. Oh man, I'm curious to see if he had like his animated characterization. But this is obviously the inspiration for the Thrilling 30 figure. Like, a lot of the design cues in that figure are on this design, and this design was made a few years before that Thrilling 30 Voyager. So it's kind of cool to finally see where the design cues came from. And this was also kind of used in the IDW comics, which is kind of also what that Voyager class is based off of. So kind of seems like the comic book people and Hasbro took this design and kind of reshaped it a little bit for the comics in that Thrilling 30 Voyager, which is really cool to see because this is a pretty fire design in my opinion. And then we have my favorite arms dealer in the cosmos, Swindle. Oh man, this is so amazing. It's referencing so many different design cues, obviously from G1, Bayverse, Align Continuity, then my favorite version of the character, my favorite cartoon, animated. It's all rolled into one umbrella, and it just makes for such a sick and sleek design. I freaking love this design, man. Where's my Voyager class aligned continuity swindle, Hasbro, huh? When are you gonna give it to me? Then we have Prima, which is one we have never seen before of this character, and he looks super beefy here. I love the blue energy all over him. And then we have Megatronus, who I've seen a lot of people gushing over, and rightfully so. This design is absolutely crazy, man. It's like they took Megatron and Galvatron, and they were like, what if those two had a baby and it was this, even though it's pretty much the opposite in terms of how the lore is told. But, you know, that's what it looks like. And this is crazy. The arm cannon, the big shoulder pylons, the kind of knight-esque looking armor to him, and then the head crest. It all just works so perfectly. A part of me wants to see the Dreamwave one that we just got in Leader Class retooled into this figure, and I would buy that in a heartbeat. The Nexus Prime, we have seen this image before, but the colorization is a lot more brighter and it is very different than the one that's been online for like over a decade now. And I do prefer this color scheme a bit better, but I don't mind the one that they ultimately chose. And then we have this weird image of Amalgamus Prime doing something, I don't know what. It's always something weird looking with Amalgamus Prime, but I love him. He's one of my favorite Prime designs, or favorite 13 Prime designs because of how wacky it is. And this image perfectly describes how wacky it is. And then the last thing I want to cover here is the Cybertron projection map, which I don't think we've ever seen Cybertron mapped out in this way before. You have Crystal City Ruins, you have this thing all the way at the bottom called Simfer, Grimlock in parentheses, I don't know what that is, Blaster City, Sea of Rust, Well of Allsparks there, Praxis. Like, you have a lot of stuff listed here that I don't think we've really ever seen in detail before. This is a really sick drawing of what Cybertron is, or was, at least in the Align continuity. I really wish Hasbro would release more stuff like this. But yeah, guys, that about does it for all the concept designs I wanted to cover here that we've basically never seen before. And yeah, there's a lot of amazing stuff in this book. But yeah, guys, let me know down below which of these designs I covered in this video was your personal favorite. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye.